Johnson on his reflection. We look forward to these reflections, and thank you, Melvin. Now a few more have gathered, so it's good to go ahead.
Okay. My name is Melvin Ishmael Johnson. May the peace and blessings of the life-giving creative spirit be upon you and upon your family. Since this is one day after the 4th of July, I would like to read a few excerpts from Fredrick Douglass' famous speech that he delivered on the 5th of July about the 4th of July. It's a very long speech, so I'm only going to read maybe about 5 minutes from some of the important sections of it. But first, let me just give you just a little bit of information about Fredrick Douglass. His real name was Fredrick Augusta Washington Bailey. He was born February the 18th. He was born February 1818, and he died February the 20th, 1895. He was an American social reformer, orator, writer, statesman. After escaping from slavery, he became a leader of the abolitionist movement, gaining note for his dazzling oratory and incisive anti-slavery writing. He stood as a living counterexample to slaveholders' arguments that slaves did not have the intellectual capacity to function as independent American citizens. Many Northerners also found it hard to believe that such a great orator had been a slave. Now, on July the 5th, 1852, Douglass delivered an address to the ladies of the Rochester Anti-Slavery Sewing Society, which eventually became known as What to the Slave is the 4th of July. That's what the speech became. Now this 4th of July is yours, not mine. You may rejoice, I must mourn. To drag a man in fetters into the grand illuminated temple of liberty and call upon him to join you in joyous anthems where inhuman mockery and sacrilege irony. Do you mean, citizens, to mock me by asking me to speak today? If so, there is a parallel to your conduct. And let me warn you that it is dangerous to copy the example of a nation whose crime, lowering up to heaven, was thrown down by the breath of the Almighty, burying that nation in irrecoverable ruins. I can today take up the plaintive lament of a pale and war-smitten people. By the rivers of Babylon, there we sat down. Yes, we wept when we remembered Zion. We hang our harps upon the willow in the midst thereof. For there they that carried us away captive required of us a song, and they who wasted us required of us merit, saying, sing us one of the songs of Zion. How can we sing the Lord's song in a strange land? If I forget thee, O Jerusalem, let my right hand forget her cunning. If I do not remember thee, let my tongue cleave to the roof of my mouth. Fellow citizens, above your national tumultuous joy, I hear the mournful wail of millions whose chain, heavy and grievous yesterday, are today rendered more intolerable by the jubilee shouts that reach them. What am I to argue that it is wrong to make men's root, to rob them of their liberty, to work them without wages, to keep them ignorant of their relationship to their fellow man, to beat them with sticks, to flay their flesh with a lash, to load their limbs with iron, to hunt them with dogs, to sell them at auction, to shunder their family, to knock out their teeth, to burn their flesh, to starve them into obedience and submission to their master. Must I argue that a system thus marked with blood and stained with pollution is wrong? No, I would not. I have better enjoyment for my time and strength than such arguments would imply. What then remains to be argued? Is it that slavery is not divine? That God did not establish it? That our doctors of divinity are mistaken? There is blasphemy in the thought. That which is inhuman cannot be divine. Who can reason on such a proposition? They that can, may, I cannot. The time for such argument is past. At a time like this, scorching irony, not convention argument is needed. Oh, had I the ability, and could I reach the nation ear, I would today pour out a fiery stream of biting ridicule, blasting reproach, withering sarcasm, and stern rebuke. For it is not light that is needed, but fire. It is not the gentle shower, but thunder. We need the storm, the whirlwind, the earthquake. The feeling of the nation must be quickened. The conscience of the nation must be roused. The propriety of the nation must be stalled. The hypocrisy of the nation must be exposed. And its crimes against God and man must be proclaimed and denounced. What to the American slave is your 4th of July? I answer. A day that reveals to him more than all other days in the year the gross injustice and cruelty to which he is the constant victim. To him, your celebration is a sham. Your boasted liberty and unholy license, your national greatness, swelling vanity, your sounds of rejoice are empty and heartless. Your denunciation of tyrants, brass-fronted imprudence, your shouts of liberty and equality, hollow mockery. Your prayers and hymns, your sermons and your thanksgiving, with all your religious parade and your solemnity are to him mere bombast, fraud, deception, impiety, and hypocrisy. A thin veil to cover up crimes which would disgrace a nation of savages. There is not a nation on the earth guilty of practice more shocking and bloody than are the peoples of the United States at this very hour. Go where you may, search where you will, roam through all the monarchies of the old world, travel through South America, search out every abuse, and when you have found the last, lay your facts by the side of the everyday practices of this nation. And you would say with me that for revolting barbarity and shameless hypocrisy, America reigns without rival. Fellow citizens, I would not enlarge further on your national inconsistencies. The existence of slavery in this country brands your republicanism as a sham, your humanity as a base pretense, and your Christianity as a lie. It destroys your moral power abroad. It corrupts your politicians at home. It saps the foundations of religion. It makes your name a hissing and a byword to a mocking earth. It is the antagonistic forces in your government, the only thing that seriously disturbs and endangers your union. It fetters your progress. It is the enemy of improvement, the deadly foe of education. It fosters pride. It breeds insolence. It promotes vice. It shelters crime. It is a curse to the earth that supports it. And yet you cling to it as if it was the sheet anchor of all your hopes. Allow me to say in conclusion, notwithstanding the dark picture I have this day presented of the state of the nation, I do not despair of this country. There are forces in operation which must inevitably work the downfall of slavery. The arm of the Lord is not short, and the doom of slavery is certain. I therefore leave off where I began. Thoughts expressed on one side of the Atlantic are distinctly heard on the other. The far-off and almost fabulous Pacific rolling grandeur at our feet. The fiat of the Almighty, let there be light, has not yet spent its forces. No abuse, no outrage, whether in taste, can hide itself from the all-pervading light. The iron shoe and crippled foot of China must be seen in contrast with nature. Africa must rise and put on her yet unwoven garment. Ethiopia shall stretch out her hand unto God. Thank you.
Homeboy. Brothers, there's only one blood, cause it ain't no sense in us trampling on the stones. It's us, down to the bone. Blood is thick, waters were known well, cousins were kept apart, mothers were often memories. Fathers were not favorites on the farm, for he could do some harm, he could wreck the master scheme, for he, brothers, could dream. Your mama ain't no saint, your daddy died in a shallow stream, but your uncle, Dr. King, did have a dream, my brother. And what is your real excuse? Why can't you study your lessons and stay in school? Why can't you study your lessons and stay in school? Free love and sex ain't nothing but a game. Don't never last, try hope. Take a chance on love, register to vote. Money ain't everything, but you could buy her a ring. Listen to little blackbird sing. Buy you a record of a yardbird with wings. Get into the swing of things, homeboy. Try some tenderness for a change.